Hello, I'm Achut Nair from Nair's Aviation Ground School. This is the 11th video in a new series of educational aviation videos for the aspiring pilot. Before the invention of the modern airplane, there were still flying machines. Hot air balloons, hang gliders, and kites were the forerunners of the modern airplane. But with the Wright brothers' achievements in the early 1900s, the first successful, powered, heavier-than-air aircraft was born. From the term heavier than air, one can imply that the airplane weighs more than the air. Weight is an important factor in flying. A fairly unknown aspect of aviation, weight and balance is significantly important in ensuring that flights occur successfully. This video is about weight and balance. Aviation is the safest means of transportation today. Much of the safety comes from the pilots practicing proper planning and techniques. Weight and balance is one of these techniques. The center of gravity of an airplane is a specific point on which the mass of the aircraft is centered. If suspended or placed upon this point, the aircraft would be completely level. If one thinks of an airplane as a seesaw or teeter-totter, the center of gravity is the fulcrum of the seesaw, the point about which either side moves. The proper center of gravity, or CG, is calculated when the aircraft is designed and built. Loading the aircraft with the intent to keep the center of gravity within the proper limits is very important. Putting a lot of weight on the front of the aircraft can shift the CG to the front, while putting the majority of the weight on the rear of the airplane can shift the CG aft. A forward CG or an aft CG adversely affects the stability and flight characteristics of the airplane. Having a more forward CG can affect the aircraft's performance. It can lead to a stable fleeting aircraft, require a longer takeoff distance as more airflow is required to lift the heavier nose, and higher stall speeds. Having a more rearward CG will make the aircraft more dynamically unstable, leading to a tail-heavy feeling. If the aircraft stalls or spins, it will be much more difficult to recover with a rear CG. On an airplane, the weight of the aircraft is a standard number, but the addition of fuel, cargo, passengers will drastically increase the weight of the aircraft. In fact, most modern airplanes will be extremely overloaded if all the seats are occupied, the cargo hold is filled, and the fuel tanks are full. Therefore, it is important to find a proper compromise between the carrying of passengers, fuel, and cargo. Overloading an aircraft is dangerous. Unfortunately, it is very easy to overload an airplane. Overloading an aircraft can create a variety of problems. The aircraft needs a higher takeoff speed, which results in a longer takeoff run. Both the rate and angle of climb are reduced. The service ceiling of the aircraft is lowered. The cruising speed can be reduced. The cruising range is shortened. Maneuverability is decreased. A longer landing roll is required because the landing speed is higher, and excessive loads on the aircraft are imposed. It is not enough just to make sure the aircraft isn't overloaded. The pilot also needs to ensure that all the weight of the aircraft is properly distributed so as not to upset the balance of the aircraft. An unbalanced aircraft is a very dangerous situation, where the aircraft and its occupants are placed in grave danger. Improperly loaded airplanes have crashed many times throughout the years. In 2013, a military cargo plane crashed in Afghanistan after 5 military vehicles weighing a total of 80 tons were improperly secured and came loose and started moving while the aircraft was climbing after a takeoff. In 2003, an overweight airplane crashed after takeoff in North Carolina, killing all aboard. It is of supreme importance that an aircraft is within the weight and balance limits. Before most flights, the weight and balance of the aircraft is calculated and analyzed by the pilots. weight and balance is measured against a reference datum, which is an imaginary vertical plane from which all horizontal distances are measured. From that datum, an arm or distance from the datum can be measured. Taking a known weight and multiplying it against the arm gives the pilot the moment, or the measurement of the tendency of the weight to cause a rotation at the fulcrum. All this information will allow the pilot to calculate the center of gravity and the weight of the aircraft. Referencing the operating handbook of that particular aircraft, the pilot can make sure the aircraft is within the weight and balance limits. Understanding and calculating the weight and balance of an aircraft is necessary before every flight. Flying requires a thorough understanding of the dynamics of the aircraft, and understanding the weight and balance of the aircraft is an integral step in ensuring the aircraft is safe to fly. For more information, please contact us at liftanddrag@gmail.com and visit our website at nyrsaviation.webnode.com. Thank you. Safe flying.